What's up, everybody? In this video, I'm going to be making a much needed modification to my Estwing Black Eagle Tomahawk. Stick around. I just want to take a moment, as always, to greet you all, to thank my subscribers and welcome all the new visitors to 411 Outdoors. I'm actually going on a little trip this morning. I'm heading down to my friend Miles's house. He's got the grinder. We're going to be working on my Estwing Tomahawk. The Estwing Tomahawk is built very well. I absolutely love the design. I think it's a heavy-duty piece of hardware. I love the way it looks, the way it feels, its weight. I love everything about it except for the width of the blade. The width of the blade itself makes it very hard to throw it into most objects. In fact, the only type of surface that I've ever been able to get that particular tomahawk to stick into is a very soft pine grain that I have back at my campsite. I've got this one pine target that is, you can pretty much throw anything into it. It's a very soft, good target for throwing. But I've got several other wooden targets that many of my other tomahawks and axes can penetrate just fine, except for this one. So I think if I can get the blade right on this, it may be one of my favorites, because I just love the way it's built. It's just heavy duty. It's got a cool look to it. We just need to get it sharper and thinner. The guy you're going to see in this video, he's one of my best friends in the whole wide world. He's got so many skills. He's a great guy. He actually has the grinder. I don't have a grinder at my house. I would do a lot more grinding if I did. I'm going to have to get one because I've got so many things that I need to grind down. I've got some really big nails that I want to turn into throwing spikes. I'm going to need a grinder for that. And so you've seen Miles in one other video. If you've watched all of my videos since the channel started, you'll probably recognize him when you see him, but it's a great guy. I'm just gonna make a quick throw to show you what I'm talking about. You know, this can't come in and chop like that. It just won't stick. It's not sharp enough to do that, and a lot of my tomahawks can. Now, if you come in from an angle like that, if you hit it from that angle, it'll stick. But I want to thin the blade down so I can have a little more success even here. All right, everybody, this is one of my favorite people in the world. Miles, just give him a big hello.
Hello.
This guy right here can do a lot of things with his hands, man. He works with his hands. He does a lot. What we doing here today, brother? How you gonna fix this thing up for me?
Man, we're just gonna grind this down a little bit. It's a little bit too shallow of an angle right now. It won't even stick in the wood, but we're gonna have to put a pretty heavy grinding stone on it, and then a grinding wheel on just a regular side grinder, and then we'll tighten up the edge on a work sharp.
Very cool.
So you want to mark this from this angle, like your marker tip pointing with the blade this way. So you can kind of lay it flat and let the marker find out where it drops off at. And you can kind of just skim back and forth and see how nice that black is now. That's kind of an idea of what we want our grind to do. So yeah, just wanted to show you that. So now, folks, we're going to do the hard grinding. We're going to get off a lot of metal really fast. And that's with a stone wheel grinder for grinding metal. Be very careful. You need to be experienced to use one of these because you can get a finger ripped off easy. Just always be very careful. I'm not wearing gloves just because I know how to use this machine very well, and I can get very detailed without gloves. Sometimes gloves kind of hold me back from my intricate work. But yeah, we're gonna do a rough grind, and then we're gonna do a couple more things and to finish it up. But just watch how I do this. I got my plate set up kind of at the right angle, and it's mostly freehand. You just use this as a stabilizer. And of course, I'm gonna start on the end of the blade and just eyeballing the angle, and I'm just gonna work it across. And it's not gonna be a beautiful grind right now, because the next step will get even prettier. You get prettier the further steps we go. I get my angle set here pretty good, and I'm just going real nice and slow back and forth. I don't want to take too much. My dad always taught me, you can always take a little more off, but you can't add it back.
That's right.
So just don't do too much. But basically, if you know how to use one of these, you know all the basic do's and don'ts. All right, y'all. All right, so any of you welders or machinists or anybody like that, please don't be too hard on me on my grinding skills. I'm more of a construction guy, asphalt paving type guy. But anyway, what we're doing here is just a rough grind, and look at how much better that looks. Look at how much
Already a massive
how
difference.
less fat it is, and how more of a slicey angle it is. So, or not in this case, actually a stick into piercing. But yeah, so we just got a rough grind. It looks bad here now, but we're gonna fix that here directly, and it's gonna be very smooth. All right, y'all, so the next step, and I say y'all because I'm from Dry Fork, don't be hating. The next step is the work sharp. I like this thing. Now this is an amateur type tool. You don't have to be really skilled in metal work or woodwork or anything like that to use this. You can get them on Amazon, really good price, and it's work sharp. I mean, I'm not paid by them. I never have received anything from them. I just bought this about a year ago and just started using it, and I love it. And it does so much. So you can set this thing up where you can use it as a mobile belt sander, a belt grinder. And what I'm gonna do is just put it in my vise here, the Tomahawk. And I've just got a small vise here. I've got a bigger vise that I use for other things, but blades, you don't need much. All right, so I'm gonna tighten that down there, and then we're gonna just put this on here. And this, we're not getting a sharp edge with this. We've got a guide that will go on here to do that. This is still just rough. We're roughing it in, and we're gonna get these bevels out, these ripples. One of the great things about these work sharps is you don't have to be really precise, because that belt, if you'll watch it, it flexes. So you can just let it just run along that rough grind you've already got and get the ripples out. And you can also tighten up your top edge of your grind. All right, shame on me for not wearing safety glasses that last clip. Got them back on. I'm gonna use this. It's a sanding wheel, and it's called a flat disc, and you can get them for wood, metal, but you put it on your side grinder, and this particular one is a 36 grit, so it's pretty hefty. I'm gonna use that to get these ripples out, and then I'm gonna go to the work sharp.
One pass. Look at how many ripples it got out. That's amazing.
A quick tip for a flat disc: when you're using a sanding disc like this, it's great to use because it doesn't leave a lot of room for error. A grinder, you can ruin a blade just with the wrong move. With this, think of it as sanding wood. There's not near as much room for error, and you can just take a little bit off at a time. All right, so I had to add this. You learn as you go. Kind of like everything in life, you learn as you do things. You learn from your mistakes. So I started using the flat disc going horizontal, going this direction on the blade here, you see. But I just changed, and I'm doing it this way. Watch this. It's very lightly coming in and pushing up. And with this 5-inch disc, or not 5-inch disc, it's called a 5-inch machine, but I think these are, how much are these? 4.5, sorry. It covers, and you only have to do a couple of swipes up, and it gets the entire edge. And it really gets those ripples out. Now we're gonna clean it up with the work sharp. All right, so now I'm gonna do a pre-cleanup. There's like 4 steps if you have to get a lot of metal off like this on this Estwing. This Estwing was really chunky back here. They make great products, but for throwing, this was a little chunky back here. We need it thinner so that it can penetrate the wood more. So we've got the ripples out mostly, as you can see. Let's try to get it in the light here. Sorry for my garage mess. We're having a garage sale. but you got most of the ripples out. So now I want to show you how I do this. And you can hold this just freehand. It's so easy with the work sharp. But just hold basically as shallow of an angle as you can, typically, and just go back and forth like that. And then when we put the guide on here after this step, then we're really gonna get a nice, smooth, clean angle on our blade here. Look at this. But look how that belt, being such a tiny machine, the belt is small enough where it just goes right over that bevel. It's perfect for an axe. And even if you touch your hand, it's not gonna hurt it, but so bad. Which my hands are very, very rough, but still, it's not a dangerous machine as that grinder over there is. I just want to show you, just in that short amount of time, we've been doing this, what, brother, 20 minutes maybe?
At least.
20, 30 minutes, and playing with a new blade, trying to figure out the angle and everything. But look how much better that is. And I haven't even finished getting the old grind out, but it's smooth. This is almost sharp enough to cut paper. Just tightening that edge up a little bit more, it will be. So this is the last step. This work sharp has got attachments that come with it, blade guides. And what you do, it's real easy. You just slide it right on. It's got a little groove back here in the back. You slide it right in. It's easy to do. Pop it right down. And then you've got your slots of different angles. Check that out. Different angles for scissors, like kitchen scissors, serrated knives. I usually use the 50 degree for like hunting knives and axes. But I'm gonna show you how this works. All right, so I'm gonna start back here, and I'm gonna watch this side over here and just keep it the same. And I'm gonna press it down and just pull it straight through. And it's gonna start working on that edge. And usually when I can make it to this point, I do this about 7 passes on each side. And I'm gonna let you see this angle here. And you can turn this on where it stays on. And it's momentary as well. But line it up like that. See how I got it even with that gray edge there of the plastic, and slide it right through, and it keeps the angle correct for the belt and blade. When you get towards the end, don't press down, kind of let it glide so that you don't like dive down. All right, so that's about 7, I think. So now you can see that it made that edge look a little better. Now we're gonna come and do the other side. How simple is this, y'all? I wish I had the idea Workshop had however many years ago. The last part of this tutorial from me, so this is the roughest one that I have. I can't remember the grit, but they go by colors. It's green. You can order all the refills on Amazon, eBay, pretty much anywhere that you would get other stuff like this. But anyway, this is the next grit down. This is what I start out with on most knives. This is a really good grit just to get not a brand new edge, but really get that edge back right. And then you'll use a finer grit. See, it's almost mirror-like. This belt is so fine to really shine it up. But I'll show you how easy that is. You saw me take it off, but all you do is just slide it on either side down here. And it's really easy to do. And then get it in the bottom, and then you just reach up and pull this spring-loaded, it's a pulley tensioner, and then you just give it a little bump on the trigger and make sure it's lined up, and if it's not, you just adjust it with this. And you can adjust that. And then I'm gonna run this through the same amount with the next grit, and then finish it off with that fine grit. All right, y'all, last step, just took off that belt. So we got the green is the really coarse, this whatever color this is, purplish is the medium, and then this one, when you get them new, they're just gray basically, like a grayish purple, but they get shiny. But I like them when they get worn out because you can get a really mirror edge with this. But anyway, it is already razor for an axe, not for a knife, but you don't need to get, let's face it, you don't need to get an axe as sharp as you do a knife.
Right.
You could spend the time, but do you need to? Throwing it? Not really. All right, so we're gonna put this last one on here and clean this edge up, and we're gonna let Daniel see how it works. And see, you can barely see anything. There's not really any sparks. It may be just throwing some dust. Now, I do not advise not wearing safety goggles, but if you don't have them, when you're using a work shark, it doesn't throw any sparks like upward. So just be very careful and wear safety glasses if at all possible.
All right, let's go give it a couple of throws. This is what I was looking for, is it's able to cut into a target straight on. All right, gang, that's a wrap. I've been wanting to do this for a long time. Miles, thank you, bro. All right, hope y'all enjoyed that. Catch you next time.
All right.
Take care.